Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm sorry it's been so long since my last video. Life got in the way, but in today's video I want to share a bit about Graves' disease and insomnia, and more specifically about my experience with CBD oil. If you watched my Graves' disease story video, and I'm gonna link that below for anyone who hasn't watched it, but if you watched it, you'll remember that one of the symptoms of Graves' disease I had was insomnia. But I actually had poor sleep habits for years prior to the onset of Graves' disease. And I think it all started with me being overzealous with my studies. So I'd stay up late to study for tests and exams, and over time, my bedtime just got later and later. But when the Graves' disease set in, it got really bad, and at a point, I couldn't sleep before 5 a.m. in the morning. Because good sleep is such an integral part of recovering from autoimmune disease, I knew that I had to fix my sleep. CBD oil is one of those things that's recommended if you're having sleep issues, so I thought I'd give it a try. I'll be honest, I was hesitant at first because, people claim CBD oil cures everything, and CBD oil can even bring about world peace. So I was hesitant. But I remember this one morning, I was listening to The Doctor's Pharmacy with Mark Hyman. It's a really cool podcast. If you haven't listened to it, I definitely recommend it. Check it out. And on this one episode, he had Josh Axe. And I remember Josh Axe saying how CBD oil is one of the most effective things. I think he said it's the most effective thing that he has found for getting people out of a high stress, sympathetic, fight or flight state. And I knew my body was definitely in that, state of chronic stress. So I tried many different things. I tried melatonin, among other things. Nothing was working. So I decided to give CBD oil a try. And guys, it has been a game changer. I will give specifics about my experience with CBD oil. But first, I think it's important to explain more about what CBD oil is. So there are actually two types of cannabis plants. There's the hemp plant and there's the marijuana plant. Both plants contain a compound called THC. So THC stands for tetrahydrocannabinol. And they also contain a compound called CBD or cannabidiol. So THC is the compound that makes you high if you smoke weed, and the marijuana plant is very high in THC. However, the hemp plant is very low in THC, but it's high in CBD. And CBD won't make you high, but it's responsible for a range of therapeutic effects, including helping you if you have insomnia, anxiety, or even relief from certain types of chronic pain. And that's why you'll find that while marijuana is illegal in many, many countries, hemp-derived CBD oil is legal in a lot of places. But if you're considering CBD oil after watching this video, it's just worth double-checking that it's legal in your country because it's still stigmatized. So there's still a bit of that stigma, the marijuana stigma that extends to hemp-derived CBD oil. And unfortunately, hemp-derived CBD oil is still illegal in some places. And I think that's possibly due to a lack of understanding, and perhaps many government officials don't really understand what CBD oil is, and they don't understand that it's a very different compound from THC. Now, on to my personal experience with CBD oil. As I always say, I'm not a doctor, so please consult with your doctor and follow their advice. I'm just sharing what has worked for me because I think it could be helpful to you, and it's just good to share knowledge. But anyway, this is the brand of CBD oil that I've been using, and sorry if I'm super smiley. It's just that it's changed my life so much. It's just improved my quality of life so much. But anyway, it's called Pure Kana Premium CBD Oil Drops. You can see it here. And it also comes in there's a mint flavored version, but I like the unflavored version, and I actually think it tastes like dark chocolate, but maybe that's just me. Let me know what you think, if you've tried this before or when you try it. I should say that this video is in no way a paid advertisement for Pure Kana CBD oil drops. It's just something that worked for me, but I know there are many good brands out there, and I will talk a bit later about what to look for in a good brand. But anyway, I started using CBD oil at the end of March, and I took it every night at bedtime for 2 weeks, and after that I stopped using it on a regular basis, and I would only use it as needed. So when I say as needed, it means that currently I only use CBD oil at bedtime if I have, you know, something particularly exciting coming up, or if I've had a very stressful day, or if I know I have to wake up early the next morning to catch a flight. So I don't know about you, but when I know I have to wake up early to catch a flight, I usually struggle to fall asleep. So yeah, I'll use CBD oil now only when I need it. And that's the thing I love about CBD oil, is that it's not something that you have to become dependent on for good sleep. In my case, at least, I think it addressed the underlying issues, you know, the chronic stress that was affecting my sleep. And honestly, I've been enjoying months of amazing sleep. And even since March, we had April, May, June, and now we're in July. I've literally gone months without using CBD oil, and I've slept amazingly. And I'm sleeping so well now, and much better than I can ever remember sleeping in my teenage or adult years. Dosage wise, the instructions on the pack say to use half a dropper at a time, but honestly that didn't work for me, and I guess my body was just so screwed up. So I actually doubled the dose, and I took a full dropper at bedtime, and after a few days on that, I went back to taking half a dropper, and I was still sleeping really well. So another thing I should mention, and it doesn't say this on the pack, but so whenever I take CBD oil, I take it sublingually. So I put it under my tongue, and it's because it gets absorbed faster that way. So let's see. So this is how I measure my dose. So the dropper has got markings on it, so I just fill it up until I get to, so this is half a dropper, and if I want a full dropper, yeah, so that's how I do it, and then I put it under my tongue. I don't know if that was helpful, but if you don't understand anything I've said, please ask in the comment section below. A little tip for figuring out the dose of CBD oil that's right for you is to start low and then gradually increase. In my case, I knew that I could safely double the dose, and I'll explain why. If you do a bit of research, you'll see that the toxic dose of CBD oil is in the tens of thousands of milligrams, and one full bottle of this, and it says so on the pack, one full bottle contains 1000 milligrams. So technically I knew I could down this whole bottle and it wouldn't be toxic. Of course I wouldn't do that. I would never recommend doing that, because that's overkill. Why take so much when just a tiny amount, you know, is all you need? And also, just because something isn't a pharmaceutical doesn't mean it isn't a medicine. So I think CBD oil is a plant medicine, and it shouldn't be abused the same way you wouldn't abuse a pharmaceutical. More specifically, if you're trying to figure out, you know, the amount of CBD you're taking, I will just share a little calculation with you. So one bottle of Pure Kana CBD oil contains 1000 milligrams of CBD, and it says so on the bottle, and it should say so no matter the brand you use. And at the back, it also says that one container contains 40 servings. So one serving is half a dropper. So one full container contains 40 half dropper servings. So if you divide 1000 milligrams by 40 servings, that means that each half dropper contains 25 milligrams of CBD oil. So in my case, taking a full dropper meant that I was taking 50 milligrams of CBD oil at a time, and I knew I was way within the safe zone. So far, I've only talked about how amazing CBD oil is, but I think it's always important to present a balanced argument. So I want to talk a bit about drawbacks. So there have been some cases where people have tested positive for THC, and they've claimed that they were only using CBD oil. So, I mean, CBD oil, hemp-derived CBD oil, contains less than 0.05% THC. So that really shouldn't happen. But because THC does kind of accumulate in the body, it is possible. And of course, it's also possible that those people were actually smoking weed and claiming that they were using CBD oil. But just for your own safety, I think it's always important to double check with your work if you have to pass drug tests to do your job. Other drawbacks of CBD oil are that it can cause appetite changes, weight gain, fatigue, and even diarrhea. And I'm going to share a link to a review from 2017. So if you want to get all sciencey and learn more, definitely give that a read. I didn't say that I would discuss, what to look for in a good CBD oil brand. And it's important you can use any brand, so it doesn't have to be Pure Kana CBD Oil. There are many good brands out there, like I mentioned, but it's important to get, a brand that is herbicide-free, fertilizer-free, solvent-free, and one that is third-party lab tested. So it's important to, get a brand that's free of the unnecessary chemicals, because some people actually have reactions to CBD oil and they think it's the CBD, but they're actually reacting to, the solvents and the herbicides and the pesticides and the fertilizers. And another drawback is that, CBD oil can be quite pricey, especially if you want to get a good brand. But, because you don't have to use it regularly and because it lasts so long, I actually think that it works out to be quite economical. So I've only recently purchased my second bottle of CBD oil. So I had, one of these bottles since the end of March. So that just shows you how long it lasts. And I think because of that, it does end up being quite economical. And really, it's not something that you're going to have to use forever, in my experience anyway. I also want to share something else about CBD oil that isn't necessarily a drawback, but it's just something wacky that I experienced. So prior to using CBD oil, I never used to dream. And the few times I would dream, my dreams just never made sense. And so I didn't like dreaming, and I thought it was quite normal that, I didn't dream. But when I started taking the CBD oil, the first 2 nights, I actually had sleep paralysis. And for a couple of nights as well, I had some really weird and odd dreams. So if you haven't read Matthew Walker's book called Why We Sleep, I definitely recommend it. And in his book, he has an explanation for all of this. And he actually explains why dreaming is, essential to good health. In essence, sleep paralysis and dreams occur in a phase of sleep that's called REM sleep. And because I had been sleep deprived for so many years, I hadn't been getting, a lot of REM sleep. And once I actually started sleeping properly, my body was having a REM sleep rebound. And that's why I had, the sleep paralysis and the odd dreams. But anyway, I don't have any of those anymore. Now I dream regularly. I remember my dreams. I enjoy them. And I think it's just a testament to how effective CBD oil is. So yeah, I'm not sharing this to alarm you. It's just something I thought you should know so that you won't be worried if you use CBD oil and you experience something similar. To conclude, if you would like to use CBD oil, definitely double check with your doctor. Make sure it's not contraindicated with any medications that you're on. So I'm on carbimazole and I haven't had any issues, but then again, I'm not your doctor. So yeah, double check with your doctor and make the decision that's best for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means the world to me. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, or you can always chat with me on Instagram at wellness_with_m. I'm actually thinking about doing a Clubhouse event where we can discuss openly about Graves' disease and insomnia and, CBD oil. If it's something that you would like to see, let me know in the comment section below. And what other videos would you like me to do? Let me know. Bye for now and see you in my next video. Have a lovely day.